generation where nobody can be nice. A generation of pints, a generation of tears and nights. Now we're living in a world. Yes, people, yes, Preston, and thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Tatts and Bants from me, Byron, and yet again another special, beautiful, long-time family friend of mine, Rebecca Ramsay. Now today, this podcast is not about fun. It's not about banter. If we have a bit of fun and banter on the way, it's all good, right? But it's about this special young man here who sadly lost his life in a drowning accident with uneducation, misinformed, if you will. I might be right in saying he wasn't educated on the dangers of cold depth water when he was in primary school or high school. And that's exactly why it's important that I get Rebecca on. Because she is probably, and I'm not going to, take that out, not probably, she is the number one, in my respect and my experience, anti-water safety, anti-water danger teacher that I've ever met. And I think that she should be in every single school. She's amazing. She's fantastic. She's beautiful. So please, everyone, give a round of applause to Rebecca. Hey, here she is. Here she
there
is.
We go.
She surprised me. She'd come round and I was like, damn, girl. I was like, wow, look at you dressed. She's like, I'm going beluga like that, which you know what is good to see, because just like my mum, we're losing John Joe, for a long time, she wouldn't go out and she feel guilty and stuff like that. But it's not about, being disrespectful. It's about making them proud in different many ways. And you've got to keep your life going, Rebecca. So you know what? It's actually class that you've turned up like this. Because damn girl, you look good.
Oh, thank
beluga
you.
lads tonight. Get in there. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start about.
Start at the beginning, and will not call me Rebecca, right?
Oh God,
that'll be the beginning.
Can't call her Rebecca, yeah. So let's start with what was your son like as a child? What was it like bringing him up?
Dylan was amazing. So right from a very, very young age, we knew that Dylan was going to be somebody special. Like literally from being a couple of days old, dropping a set of keys on the floor and him turning his head. Like he shouldn't have been able to do things like that at that age. Yeah. Then he just literally went on and on and on to absorb education, information, loved life, loved learning, loved free running, loved sports, loved swimming. He was a brilliant swimmer, been swimming since he was 8 months old.
So I'm assuming with what you just said then, let's say, for example, mock exams, practice GCSEs in primary school, I think they're called mocks. Well, back in the day, SATs, yeah, I think they were called mocks when I was in school. Oh, God, they've changed names now 20 times. They're like A, B, C, not like that. No,
it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
now.
Oh God, like, what's a 1? What's a 3? Am I thick? Am I not?
Well, now we don't know.
Just let me know. Am I thick? Am I not?
We just
I was
don't.
in Fuzzbuzz crew. So I'm assuming he was academically doing well on all these tests.
He was literally a star student.
Yeah.
I mean, I never ever got a bad report. I never heard a bad word about him in his whole life. Never heard a bad word about him since he's gone either.
And what primary school did he go to?
So he went to Manor Road Primary School in Whittle. Whitley Woods.
Must have been a decent primary school, yeah?
Yeah. Lovely area. Yeah. Not going to diss any area. I mean, I come from Preston, born and bred. This is where my roots are, do you know what I mean? But I wanted different. I wanted different for my kids. I wanted them to live in the countryside. I wanted them to experience what I hadn't experienced as a child. And to my misfortune, obviously, that's why I'm here, because we're talking about the loss of my child.
Yeah. And then so he's doing well. He's doing academically okay. He's doing well. You're proud of him. He's already achieving things you never thought possible.
He was athlete of the school 2 years in a row.
What is that, like sports day?
Yeah, so like on his sports day, he had to compete at his school, and basically he was the best of the best at his school. So then he got picked to go and compete against other schools. Yeah. So he went there and he was the best of the best there as well. He was only picked for 6 different things to do, and he won 5 of them, and one of them was a relay race, and that was the one that he lost. There's 4 people involved in a relay race. It's not all on your head, mate. You know what I mean? You can't catch that up if 3 people didn't do that great.
I bet Dylan stood there going, speed up.
Oh, he was fuming that he lost. They were fuming. He didn't like
so
to
3 out of
lose.
4.
Yeah,
3 out of 5.
5 out of 6.
3 out of 5.
5 out of 6.
5 out of 6 then.
I know, yeah. You definitely don't know your numbers.
I
do you?
know.
That's why these numbers are messing you up.
Come on, that's it. You're getting called Rebecca now again. Fuzz Buzz Crew. So now he's gone to high school. What high school did he go to?
He went to Parklands.
Parklands, yeah. I've been to Parklands before. Very good school, actually.
Yeah.
They are on the board with knife crime, for example, and other stuff.
Yeah.
Have you been to teach there yet?
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
I went. That was my first ever school that I went into.
Bless you.
So absolute
Teachers.
nightmare of it. I went into my first school within losing Dylan within 2 weeks. Like, I was looking for my son in crowd. He weren't there.
Oh.
I collapsed on stage. I did a.
Bless you.
Was what it was.
Bless you. I'm not lucky, but like my experiences led me to only do my first knife crime talk after God 3-4 years. So I'd already sort of like got past, not past. You don't get past it, do you?
No.
You just get used to it.
Yeah.
We spoke about this before, haven't we? So I was already there, but God, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Dylan died on the 3rd of July. His funeral was the 13th, and schools split up for summer holidays roughly about the 21st.
Yeah.
And I did 2 schools in that week between his funeral and them splitting up for 6-week holidays. And it were horrific.
But I've seen you in action many years after that, and now you're a pro. God, I always refer to you, and again, because we don't talk a lot, because we're so busy, aren't we? I always say to people, they go, "Oh, water safety." I'll go, "Get Rebecca Ramsay," and I'll go, "Why?" I'll go, "That gal can change bridges different colours. Do you understand what it takes to do that?" And I ask the God's honest truth. They'll go, "What do you mean?" I'll keep Rocco getting on. Rocco, leave her alone.
You really like me, don't you?
So, Rocco, get down. Rocco, get down.
You're spoiling me.
Yeah, no, he's all right. Get down. Look, we're not even going to cut that. Rocco wants to get in the shocks. He loves her. So, and I always say that. I say, "Listen, you want to get Rebecca Ramsay?" And I go, "Wow." I say, "Listen, the woman's got that much power. She can change the colour of bridges." So
I changed the national curriculum.
This what I mean. Yeah, but when you say bridges, I was like, "What?"
Come on.
So go on then. List off some things you've achieved, what you've changed in the in the education sector, awards you've got, stuff like that. So what's come of this?
Right, so immediately after losing Dylan, I knew that if Dylan could lose his life like that, then anyone could, because he were athletic, he was academic, he were a good lad. He wasn't one of these that hung around streets taking drugs, drinking, swearing, smoking, whatever. He didn't do all that. He were an A-star student, like I say, and that's not because he didn't associate with those people, because he did. He wasn't like indiscriminate or anything like that.
Yeah.
He was very. He loved people. He just loved anybody. He just loved people. So very, very quickly it turned into me going into schools, and I started teaching water safety. The very beginning, I wasn't really teaching water safety. I was just telling my story. I was just telling them that I lost a child and hoping that was enough to get them to make better choices, to make wiser choices, to make better decisions. Now, I'm not going to lie, I 100% let my son down. I know why your mum doesn't go out. The same reason why I haven't gone out for 13 years. It's been 13 years, and I have last 8 weeks, I started going out a little bit every now and again.
You should do, though. Every time my mum goes out, she wakes up hungover the next day and goes, "I feel guilty. I shouldn't have gone out, this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "What are you doing? No. Life doesn't end." I am a firm believer. I don't believe in God. Whether you do or not, I'm not here to change your opinion.
I don't.
I believe that there has to be something afterwards. I'm a firm believer in science, and I'm very set in my ways now that no one will ever change my opinion on that. And meeting so many different people, like paramedics, teachers, 500 and odd. I remember when I first met you and you said you taught 500 and odd thousand people, and I was like, bloody hell, how am I going to get to that? And then you achieve it, don't you? So what people don't understand is, because we don't work in an office, because we see so many different people, the stories I've heard about what people's beliefs are in the afterworld and stuff. And I truly believe that if you are miserable, you're going to make him miserable.
Yeah.
Because they're going, Mum, what you doing? Go out.
I look at it that I've got to have something to tell him when I get up there.
Yeah.
And if I've sat at home
100%,
crying in a
100%.
corner, then I've got nothing to tell him when I get there. When I meet back up with him, I've nothing to say.
Yeah.
If I've made a difference in his life or death, then I've got something to tell him. I've got achievements to explain to him. Like, that's what was just going on to. There are things that I've achieved. I've achieved, obviously, local awards, similar to yourself,
Yeah.
radio awards, BBC awards,
Yeah.
Granada Reports awards, you name it. I mean, you get it, don't you?
Yeah.
So some of the most special awards that mean the most to me are, I won an Archangel Award in 2014. So it was pretty early on as well, because I
Yeah.
lost Dylan in 2011. And I got an Archangel Award, and that's the biggest award that's the biggest accolade that they give out.
Yeah.
And to date, they've only given out a handful of these awards. Even now, to date, like 13 years on, not anybody just gets them.
Yeah.
So and I don't know if you know who they are, but they're called ROSPA. So basically, they're the people that make up all the rules and regulations in work, like bending and lifting rules, health and safety, this, that, next thing. Anyway, I got that off them. I won a Volunteer of the Year award off Manchester Fire and Rescue, because I did a lot of work with Manchester Fire and Rescue. I got a British Empire medal off the Queen. I met Prince William.
That's my goal.
Well, you're not going to get one off the Queen, I'm afraid, mate.
No,
you're not getting one off the Queen.
the King then, whoever, just want one.
You're not getting one off the Queen, that's
Yeah.
for sure. But you might get one off the King. But yeah, I mean, like, the British Empire medal, it was... Do you know what? Just like you, these awards are so bittersweet. They're so bittersweet. You stand up on that stage, you say thank you, you stand and look pretty and smile, and you're very grateful to whoever's put you up for them. And yeah, obviously they mean a lot to you, because it's getting recognition out. It means that people are hearing about you. It means that people are learning about what you're talking about. But honestly, we'd give them all back. We'd give them all back and have our life back and be naive and not have a clue about what we're talking about today. Do you know what I mean? Like, I educated myself because I knew that there was nobody else out there doing what needed doing. And I got... I've had 6 petitions up and running, 5 of which failed and got nowhere. And then sorry, I need to have a drink. I've got drown.
It's all right. No, good, that's what it's there for.
Oh.
You got 6 petitions, yeah?
I got 6 petitions up and running, 5 of which failed, and 1 got 108,000 signatures. You need 10,000 signatures to get an answer from Parliament, and you need 100,000 to get them to debate it. So I got the goal, what they asked me to get. And then it took me like 3 years to actually get it on the curriculum from even getting them 100,000 signatures. And that was only keep telling them constantly, you know what? You made promises. You can't back out of them. You know what I mean?
Which they do all the time.
All the time.
Nightmare.
So now it's on the curriculum, and in my head, they've got 12 months to make sure every single school in this country get taught water safety. And if they don't, I'll be banging on their door, or I'll be doing something crazy and letting the whole world know how many people drown every single year because they don't.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a joke, innit? It's like, I was on, we did GB News, what day was that? Yesterday. And when I tell my harsh opinion now on knife crime, how it's not necessarily the government's fault, it's just brutal consequences of these companies. I'm not going to mention any names, I don't want to get sued, but clothing companies and the music industry, who, by the way, this is fact, the music industry who own the record labels, their sons and daughters never get stabbed up. The people who own the companies who sell the gangster clothes that they wear ballies on, which can go to Manchester, Trafford Centre, Preston City, every city centre. It's like they're as popular as McDonald's, who've made it popular for balaclavas to be sold to 13-year-olds or 12-year-olds at Christmas, normal. Their sons and daughters, their directors' sons and daughters never get stabbed up. But yet, why do all kids who carry knives act the same, walk the same, talk the same, use the same drugs and stab each other? It's stereotypes don't create themselves. And then the government will go, oh, hang on, we'll get a celebrity. We'll get a celebrity to say we're banning zombie swords. Fuck off.
And
what are you talking about?
You know what? That's what it'll take. It'll take for somebody big and somebody powerful for something to happen.
It's disrespectful, though, isn't it? It's like, why do we need to listen?
It's like, why do we constantly do something after the effect? Yeah. Why do we always do it? You know, that we always put something in place. We always get something going on after somebody's died, after somebody's drowned. I mean, I'm not being funny, but I could mention schools that I've been asked to go into prior to people dying in that school. How do you think that makes me feel? I've actually asked, can I come into your school? You've refused me entry, and then someone from your school's drowned.
I get that all the time, and I love that you've just said said that because it was on my, like in my imagination when I was thinking what things I need to ask you, is that I'll get schools where teachers are emailing me going, please come to my school. I'll get the booking ready, get everything in place, and they'll go, I'm so sorry. I go, what? They go, a teacher says you're too powerful. We don't want to make kids throw up. And I'll go, excuse me. You want to risk your kids getting stabbed up over a presentation that might make them feel a bit bad?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't have me in.
Yeah, I have no holds barred, and like obviously, like I don't have anybody to answer to, so I don't work for anybody. Everything's voluntary. Do what I want,
Okay,
and
I'm same.
Like, and if the school doesn't like what I've got to say, or the pupils or the parents, then come to me directly, and I'll tell you what it's like to lose a child. I'll tell you what it's like to have the opposite end, where you 100%. Haven't had the education, where you haven't been taught, where 100%. You haven't been spoken to. I wish Dylan had that education. I'd say
at least 95% of the parents, very rare that have complained as well, they'll personally email me. I'll tell them what I do, the effects we've had, and literally 95, if not more % of the parents will go, oh my God, I didn't know it was like that. Yes, please go in. But then you've got that one do-gooder school that's a school teacher that walks around with bright blue hair, saying that, oh no, you can't go mad at kids like that, which is a part of the problem, by the way, saying, oh no, we can't have him in. I heard by his sister's school that one kid passed out. I'm like, we're talking about kids stabbing people. We're talking about kids drowning. What do you want us to do? Then they'll get another person to come in with a PowerPoint that looked like it was made by a primary school teacher or a primary school kid, and the kids will be going, and I'm like, and that's education.
Yeah. I mean, I do it all the time. I go against other services or not against them.
I'm not against any other service, but I mean, I'm not here to make friends with them.
No, neither am I. I mean, that's it. I didn't get in this game to make friends. It's not a game to me. This is life, do you know? Excuse my French.
I've just quit a company I used to work for. I'm not going to mention them. I love them. We're still friends. I'm still going to do a bit of work for them, but I've just quit because I couldn't have them commenting on what I was doing. And I was like, no, I go to schools, me, and teachers are like, oh my God, your Instagram's funny. They go, oh my God, your YouTube is funny. And then I'll go, and then that plays a tribute to me going in schools because everyone already knows what they're about to get, the funny chav. And with you, I've seen your work, it's probably grown and adapted since last time I've seen it, is that you go in and you're going to say things that some of these pupils and some of these parents and teachers don't like, but we're not here to make you like it. We're here to make your kids not die.
Exactly. And it's just the education, isn't it? It doesn't matter how we get through to them, does it? No. This stereotypical type of teaching should be thrown out the window, let's be honest. 30 kids in a classroom in front of one teacher all learning the same. We haven't got 30 kids all the same. They're not the same.
Doesn't work.
No. So, I mean, I'm involved in something at the moment where there might be some kind of like school opening up in Preston that's for children that's not for mainstream school, do you know what I mean? They're going to be for, I don't know, kind of need extra help, or they won't be going down the route of doing your maths, science and English, you know what I mean? They'll be going down, I mean, maybe even boxing, things like going down other routes.
We're about to open our new boxing gym, so open doors for you guys.
Yeah.
So we've spoken. Oh God, see what I mean? Do you see what happens? We've not even talked
about
Dylan. We've not even really talked about what happened. But that's what passion does. That's why I love doing this. Believe it or not, in it, this show was meant to be me and my tattooed up mate, which it is predominantly going to be. But me and my tattooed up mate, hence Tatts and Bants, I haven't taken a mick out of people. So I could have a break from knife crime, and it's already spiraled out of control into this platform where people can tell their heartfelt stories. We've Toxic to everyone, Dolby, we've had Afghan stories, and now your story. It's just spiraled out of control. That's why I love it. So now let's reverse time then. Let's talk about, because we know how amazing Dylan was. We know he was very academic. We know he was very physically fit, so he could definitely swim. Quite quickly then. Was he a good swimmer?
Yeah, from 8-month-old.
8-month-old, good swimmer. What age would you reckon he was fully able to family holiday, jump in a pool? What age was that he could swim a length?
Probably 2 or 3. Easy.
2 or 3. Okay, so we got that. So please, because I've heard this from you before, talk me through waking up in bed and hearing. I don't know. Obviously, you're gonna tell the story. At what point did he walk up to you that day, sunny day, rainy day, or not, and say, "Mum, I'm going swimming"?
I didn't see him that day.
So let's start from when you last saw him to phone call, because I know that's a key point in what you speak about, and the story. So I'm going to shut up now, and I want you to tell me and the viewers start to. And I know it's very horrible because I always sticks in my head when you ran down the gravel path. Was it? And was it the paramedics that told you? Or
no, my husband.
Your husband, but you ran down, didn't you?
Well, I ran down the main street, the road.
To them. So start to finish. Let's hear.
Right. So basically, I last saw Dylan on the 2nd of July. He came home. We was having a barbecue, and he asked could he go to a friend's and stay at a friend's house. I wish I'd have said no, but I don't know that it would have changed anything. The next morning I got up and it was one of my other child was going to a football tournament, so it was going to be an all-day thing. Made packed lunch, got everything ready, and then I thought I better ring Dylan and just make sure what time he's coming home. I went up to his room. His room was a bit of a tip, as your lads are, let's be honest. I had a little look and I was like, no, get home. You need to come home and tidy your bedroom. And as all kids, teenagers, Dylan were a bit like he'd been up half at night with his mates, probably gaming or playing or messing about, whatever. He was a bit like, oh, do I have to come home, Mum? And me being me, and it were a lovely day, I was just like, do you know what? Just make sure you're home before I get back from football. I said, because your room's actually a mess. Fast forward, I go to football. I remember the last words he said to me. He said he loved me and he wished his brother good luck at the tournament. We went to football. We'd been sat in the sun for maybe an hour. Been a couple of matches. And I got a phone call. It was a number that I'd never, obviously an unidentified number. You know, it didn't come up unidentified, but it wasn't a number that was in my phone book. Yeah. And I'd missed the call. I thought, sod it, if it's important, they'll ring me back. Yeah. And they rang back, but I missed it again. But luckily my mum was with me at the tournament, so I got her phone and I was just like, just give me your phone, let me just ring this number back because it's weird. I just want to know who it is. It's on, like, trying to get hold of me. And a woman answered the phone. She said she was with my husband. And at that point, I'll be honest with you, I thought my husband was having an affair.
Yeah, you've said that to me before, haven't you? Yeah, I remember you saying that. Your initial thought was, he's having an affair in it because you thought this woman was ringing you, weren't you? But you found out that quite quickly wasn't.
He wasn't. I don't...
Try it. Take your time. Honestly, take your time. It's going to be horrible, innit?
I wish she was having an affair because... Yeah. One, because, like, obviously we can get on with life no matter what. And two, I could have fought for him if it were an affair. It were
It's all right, love.
He was a police officer, and she was basically telling me that JD was in back of a police riot van at this point, because Dylan was in some kind of trouble. She didn't tell me what kind of trouble at that point. She just said he's had an accident at the quarry. I'll be honest, I thought he might have fallen from top of quarry. Mm. I thought I would probably go into broken bones, potentially even a broken back, broken neck. I thought in my head I would go into a mangled mess.
Yeah, because you always think when you get that call, like, for example, when my mum got the call, no one says deceased, dead, like you'd expect in the shitty films. It's nothing like that, is it? And you've got to wait till you actually get there, isn't it? And I don't think a lot of people even comprehend how that tension, because then I'm assuming you went football to the quarry.
They told me, the woman said I weren't allowed to drive, and as soon as she said I weren't allowed to drive, I thought, something not right here. Yeah. So I said to my mum, I don't care what you do, break every law in book and I'll take rap for it, like go through every red light, just get me to him because there's something not right. And she did. She went through every red light until we got to, you'll know it, but your viewers won't, but up near Bamber Bridge, where Sainsbury's is, there's a set of 4 lanes. We was like in them 4 lanes. We were trapped. We couldn't go through the red light even if we wanted to. But there were a copper that had been trying to pull us because of my mum's driving, and he got out of his car to obviously pull my mum and take a licence off her because she probably deserved it at that point, I'm not going to lie. But before he had a chance to even open his mouth, I was in his car and I was telling him that the lad that he could hear about on his radio was my son. Straight away radioed through and he just said, I've got the mum in the car, and the way he said it was just weird. I've got the mum.
Yeah.
And I just thought, what? And I looked over at his speedometer. We were going down a road that's a 40 and he were doing 100. And I just thought, this is bad, this.
Yeah.
I remember getting to the garage that was about 1.5 miles away from the actual quarry. And they came over at radio, either code 1 or code 9, and I still don't know to this day what it was, and I don't even want to ask.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's the point that my son was pronounced dead.
Dead, yeah.
I didn't at the time, obviously. I didn't have a clue what it meant. So we carried on driving like it was only a little way. When we got there, it was like something out of a movie scene, like police everywhere, black vans, black cars, Oak Village out, police tape, just ambulances, just horrific, just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. I've jumped out of the police car moving, and my husband's jumped out. Well, he's not jumped out, he's in front of the ambulance, because all I've said to my husband is, if he's fallen, because I still think he's fallen at this point. So I was like, if he's fallen, he's going to be scared if he goes to hospital on his own. So leave the other kids with a neighbour or a friend and make sure you go in the ambulance with him. He already knew at that point Dylan wasn't with us anymore. So he was stood in front of that ambulance till I got there. And then I got there and I got out of this car, and he just screamed at me that Dylan were dead.
Oh, wow. Bless you. Bless you.
He didn't do anything wrong. He were in such shock himself. He just lost a child as well, do you know what I mean? And I just remember it in the deck. I just remember hitting the floor and I collapsed, and he come over to help me. And if he'd have just stayed in front of the ambulance, maybe I'd have got an ambulance, but the police just kept saying no.
So is Dylan in the ambulance?
Dylan's in that ambulance.
Okay.
And I'm not getting in that ambulance. They're not letting me in that ambulance. They've already pronounced him gone, obviously.
Yeah.
The reason they told me I wasn't allowed in the ambulance was because he was in a mess. So I'm now thinking my son's a mangled mess, because at this point I still don't know he's been in water. I still don't know he's drowned. I went to my mum's, and literally police come about 2 hours later, but throughout this 2 hours, the whole time, all over social media, it was like, R.I.P. Dylan, R.I.P. Dylan, R.I.P. Dylan. And I was just like, what do you mean R.I.P. Dylan? I hadn't even seen him yet. What do you mean?
Oh, no, I can... It's weird, isn't it? How people can have the most weirdest things in common. Like, God, I remember when we was at hospital, ringing Sammy Kirby, who's John Joe's best mate, and saying, I'm so sorry he's dead, crying my eyes out. And by the time we'd even got my mum's clothes, 5, 10, 20 minutes tops, it was like my phone were going, voo, voo, voo. It was like it wouldn't stop. And I was like, how does bad news travel so much faster than good news? And it was insane. God, I choked up a bit. I was like, like when you were talking then about when you said like a film, because when we turned the corner to get out of Elgin Street, it was a long street to where my brother was dead, and his blood was still there, and it was literally everyone knew my mum's and my car, so everyone was staring at us, and it doesn't it feel like a film? I screamed. It's like, crazy, isn't it?
Like when I collapsed, before I collapsed, or when I collapsed, or when I come round, I say I screamed. It wasn't a scream. It was more like an animal noise. But I just made this like I couldn't even recreate it, to be honest. It's stupid even trying, but I made this absolute howling noise, and all I can compare it to is like an animal yearning for its child. And that's exactly what I was doing in that moment. I just turned into an animal, and all I wanted with my baby. I could not believe for 1 second that my son had gone out on a hot sunny day and he weren't coming home. It did not make any sense.
Horrible,
whatsoever.
Horrible. It's crazy how much we got in common. It was a hot summer days as well for JJ. It was just a normal day, and then I think for me the punishment was my mum. I mean, when John Joe died, he died. So it was absolutely brutal when I used to think about it, but I used to be able to escape from it. So I went to the gym so much, did whatever I did. But then my mum was living at my house. So that my mum would be like suicidal and then taking these pills. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on with my mum? This is mental. And this is why, as much as I think I've had it bad, and obviously now we've both changed things around. God bless us, or whatever it is. God doesn't say God. You know what I mean?
Somebody bless us.
You say God bless us, like you don't.
And then we don't believe in God.
But it could be like the universe bless us. And that does take effort, by the way. So every credit, not everyone becomes successful from the horrible stuff they've been through. It takes a very unique person, and I learned from you. Don't forget when I first started. But oh my God, I'm going to swear, but fuck me, my mum killed me, man. Like, I remember once she used to come in, I'd be sat there playing computer, 3 years have passed, 4 years have passed, she'd come in, and I'd go, hey mum, and she'd just start crying and go, I was to blame for John Joe's death, and oh my God. But then people be like, fucking Byron's a dickhead, he's doing knife crime, he's a pretty ghost at gym. I'm like, my mum's suicidal 24/7, I've got to deal with it. People don't have an absolute pig ignorant clue what it's actually like, do they? So I honestly think if I did bad, you and my mum, you can't compare any other siblings lost, because you have lost the child that you created.
Not just that though, the thing is, right, you're probably selling yourself a bit short there, if I'm being honest, because on the day that you lost your brother, you lost your mum as well, didn't you?
Bloody hell, man. Jesus Christ, love. Oh, my God, I had to like, there you fucking nearly got me then, love. Jesus Christ. Whoa.
I know my kids lost the parents the day they lost the brother. And I know you lost your mum the day you lost your brother. Because we're not the same people, not because we don't want to be, but because we can't be, Byron. We can't be.
Jesus, love.
I'm sorry.
If you got me then, that's the first time that anyone's got me on this cash yet. Whoa.
Sorry, guys.
It's right. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's what it's about. Whoa, yeah, you're right. You're right. I did lose my mum. And it's only, like I said to you a minute ago, about, well, when you turned up and you look so well, I only got her back about 2 years ago. You know what I mean? When she started going out, and now she goes out with her crew that she went to school with, and they've all got, I can't remember what, they've all got their own girl nickname, and she comes home drunk and she doesn't wake up the next morning crying about
That's
JJ.
not like me and Michelle at all.
Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, I didn't expect that, man. But I wish for anyone who says negative, we're going to go on to net, anyone who does bad, we had Toxic Terror on this morning, well, earlier, didn't we? Anyone who does bad stuff to other people, especially when you're a fully functioning adult who knows how shit life can be, who still does bad stuff to each other, I wish I could bottle up a little ball and go, yeah, you fucker, have that, and they have a feeling or just a snippet of what you've been through, and then you go, oh, that's what pain feels like, and then
I used to say
I'd be like, yeah, you, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So now who's the bad person? What? I'm a knife grab. What? She's a water tape. Like, I always tell people about you turning bridges, but I always remember, and again, remember we've not spoke about prep this, when you said someone burnt your son's football top. Who in the right mind isn't, whether there's God or not, I tell you what, that person isn't having an afterlife.
And not, I wouldn't mind, maybe some weren't even into football, so like it was irrelevant to me.
This is what I'm saying, but it's not. But it's disgusting. Who in the right mind says, "Ha, your brother got his head chopped off"? And it's not just us two. In this,
somebody went on TikTok and pretended to be him.
Yeah, I remember saying that. Someone pretended to be her dead son and used the same pictures. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's like, you got to comprehend for a second. That's how
TikTok won't take it down, but they'll take us down if we're vaping.
Yeah. It's mental, innit? It's mental. It's like if I go on YouTube and talk about the government, they'll take me down. But they let's say we go stab, and then Netflix can make programs that all the kids want to watch with all the rappers that talk about stabbing each other up. Weird world, innit?
No,
but don't forget, these rappers.
So it's all about the money.
They're all
if they're not making money,
they're all sponsored by the clothing brands.
And like we both said, we didn't come to make friends, did we? Let's be honest.
Innit? Wow, you've literally made me ready for bed. I wasn't prepared for that then, Rebecca. You know what?
No, it's about you like learning that, you know what, you're not the only one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But, so, right. So, I'm not going to ask you anything more that's that next level horrible now. I want you now to educate me. Like, imagine that you've never spoken to me before, because obviously I know what happened, but so the viewers can understand what happened to Dylan. Now, I know he was with a girl, weren't he?
Two boys.
I thought he was with a girl he was interested in.
No.
Where have I got that?
I'll tell you probably got the girl from. So he'd rang a girl to go out with that day, and she was busy, so he couldn't go out with her, so he chose to go swimming instead.
Right, okay.
So that's where the girl comes in. But not that makes a difference.
I thought he was with a girl. So he's with these two lads,
brothers.
They're about to jump into the water, or whatever's gone on. Obviously, we know how horrible it is. Dave just made me cry on camera. What is it that killed him? What is it that people need to know that you now teach in schools? Because I didn't know it. When you told me, I was like, there's a layer of water underwater. Are you mad? I was like, what?
Yeah. So, obviously I could be here all night. And first off, I'm going to say we're 13 years in and I still don't know what happened to Dylan. I still don't know exactly what happened to Dylan, and it were two brothers that were with him. They're the only people that actually know 100% what happened to Dylan, and they're not willing to talk. It's that simple. They're not willing to tell me. Do you know, it's that simple. I was told that from the coroner that Dylan had died of cold water shock, but because of what I've learned, cold water shock's a pretty instant thing. It happens as soon as you jump in water, you gasp for breath, you swallow water, you start panicking. Before you know it, blood's gone from your extremities and you're out of here. Do you know what I mean?
Is that where the cramp comes into it?
So you can get cramp.
You start to cramp
so I
up.
think possibly Dylan might have had cramp. All this, we don't believe in God and all that. I don't believe in God. No person with a hierarchy would put anybody through this pain. Nobody in the world would do that. That's why I don't believe 100%. Nobody would see a woman or a guy go through this kind of pain ever. It's just not humane. It's not nice. It's not normal, is it? Let's be honest. It's not the right train of
before you go to heaven.
Yeah,
how does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, like it's messed up, innit? The world's messed up. But let's be honest, these two guys have gone in the water with Dylan, and Dylan's been in the water for about 20 minutes before he's got into any trouble. So that he's not died of cold water shock. He's only been underwater for 3 minutes in total. 3 minutes, and they only worked on him for about 25 minutes. Didn't even shock him, didn't even defib him, didn't give him no adrenaline. They literally give him mouth to mouth and resus. That's it. That's all he did to him.
And what's the explanation for not giving?
So they didn't use the defib, they said, because he was wet, even though stay at year and he'd been on this like island by this point for 20 minutes. Not being funny, but if you were about to pronounce a child dead, you would at least risk giving them a freaking shock to shock the heart.
One of the most famous water save videos.
Exactly.
He's the Australian one. He's Australian.
Yeah.
And they pat him down, you dry them, then you shock them.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not being funny, but
I know that because I've watched that video 100 times.
Exactly. They reckon they couldn't dry him, so there was nothing they could do at that point. Because Dylan's been pulled out onto an island in the quarry, so he's not on dry land out of the quarry when he's been pulled out, if that makes sense. A Polish man's pulled him out. Not even his friends have pulled him out. So a Polish man's been at the top, seen Dylan. Dylan shouted help, and this Polish guy's thought Dylan was saying hello, waved at Dylan, and then when he's realised he was in trouble, he's obviously ran down and
jumped in.
Yeah.
What a man. What a shame.
He's from round here, actually.
Oh, is he? So things might have been different if he didn't even think he was shouting hello.
Well, yeah.
So
he said to me when I first met him, he said to me, the words still go right in my head and I can sit and I can watch your clock, wherever your clock is, but 60 seconds, he reckons if he could have got to him 60 seconds earlier, he'd have saved his life.
Yeah. I mean, just off what you said alone, right there, has spiraled off to, could be another 2-hour podcast, because obviously people might watch this now. Hopefully, as the channel grows, it's going to turn into 1,000 views to 2,000 views to 10,000 views, and you're going to get more publicity. And people might watch this go, well, no. As we both know, there's always someone that knows something. And instead of saying, excuse me, sir, this is the reason why, they go, you're wrong. And it's like, well, I'm not a pro.
Yeah, I'm just a mum that's grieving, that's
just
trying to
that's
make a
grieving,
difference.
and a brother that's been grieving, and a mother that's been grieving. But off the cuff, it doesn't take a rocket science to understand. And every first aid training I've ever done, and I've done some quite intense ones with working for the army and stuff like that, is that it is always possible to dry someone. Mm-hmm. And I'm a bit confused.
He'd been led in the sun for 20 minutes.
And with this island you're on about, well, you're saying an island, but I'm assuming we're not talking about a formation of rocks. We're talking at least...
like a bit of a grass, like island in the quarry.
So it was... Would you say it was more than efficient enough to... or the space was big enough to dry him?
Absolutely. There were 3 people on it. There were 2 people working on him, and there were 3 people on it.
Whatever his opinions people might have, I suggest you just type it. I don't know what it is. YouTube. Do you know the name of the video? Is it the Australian video?
No.
Australian lifeguards saving someone, and they're on a busy beach.
I think they're in Bonsai Beach.
Yeah, and they still managed to towel someone down. So again, we can't go into that.
And we could go into we could go crazy here, but there's been people that have been underwater for like 60 minutes and still survive. If you heat them. So when Dylan died, within a week they changed the law. A law within a week of Dylan dying. You're not allowed to pronounce somebody dead at the side of a scene cold anymore. And that was changed within a week of Dylan dying. But they did pronounce Dylan dead at the side of a scene. I'm not 100% Dylan. I'm not 100% sure that Dylan died in that water or on that island. If I'm being totally honest as a mum, I believe he might have died in the ambulance on his own when I was begging to get in it.
And you know what? Just all that information, I can believe you. Honestly.
I got an apology off him. Not written her out. Just like, we're really, really sorry. We made the wrong decision that day. We should have let you go in the ambulance with him, because there were not a mark on him. When they told me he was a mess, I don't know what they were talking about.
No broken ribs.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
Not a scratch on him. When I seen him, there wasn't a scratch on him. He just looked like he was asleep.
I know if I would have broke his ribs. I know it sounds horrible saying, but I would have pushed so hard.
No, nothing. He was 13 and he didn't get the chance. In my opinion, he didn't. And then the system messed him up again once we got to inquest. But that's again another story.
I know, because you told me they spelt his name wrong.
She's
unbelievable.
The coroner knew the mum of the 2 brothers that was actually in the water with my son. So if nothing else, surely conflict of interest. One of the brothers is now serving 10 years. I'm not one of them that says anything bad about anyone, but the wrong person definitely went that day.
Yeah. God bless you, man. Oh, I said it again. The world.
Somebody fucking bless us.
Someone bless us.
God's sake.
Someone bless us. So, right, obviously, because I feel like, again, what we're finding out, aren't we, T, with a lot of these episodes is
you need to give the whole time to one person.
Yes, well, the next step that me and T are planning and Kyle are planning is we're going to make it into a studio. So we're going to have multiple seats. So then we could get you on, and we can get another family. We can get you on, a firefighter. We can get Door B on. So we can get someone from NHS and Toxic Terry on, because you watched live, didn't you? He was failed. I can't believe that we heard that before. That again, people have failed left, right, and centre. Where he went to the doctors, the hospital, and they said, because you're addicted to glue and petrol and it's legal, we can't help you. What? Imagine if that happened nowadays, you know what I mean?
I'm telling you.
And then your son dies, and a week later they change the law. It's like sometimes other people's benefits come at the cost of other people, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I've supported a lot of families since losing Dylan, as you well know.
So have you ever met anyone that's gone through similar circumstances?
Hundreds of people, hundreds. All the time. I was in Wellingborough about 6 weeks ago helping a family who recently lost a son they lost the son on May the 10th.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get water safety boards and stuff up in the area. So basically they went to council. We got council meetings and stuff, and they wanted somebody there that would represent them. And literally they'd gone and asked everybody around the country, like, will you rep me? Will you do this? Will you do that? And everybody pointed them to me. So they came to me. So within 8 days, I was in Wellingborough 3 times. So I did 1,100 miles within 8 days.
Good.
And supported this family. We've now got change going on in Wellingborough, so no fancy. No offence, it is. But like last week, do you remember the tragedy that took place December last year? 4 kids went through the ice.
Yes, yeah.
So that family's just contacted me, so
Okay,
I'm going to
good.
be working with them quite closely, I think, very soon. And funnily enough, I've actually got a gala going on, and it's called the Ice Advice Gala, and it was what happened to them that inspired my Ice Advice campaign, if that makes sense.
And that's going to now spiral into helping more people and stuff like that. So totally not off topic, but on topic, because obviously, listen, there's certain things you can say, certain things you can't say and stuff like that. But does it annoy you how, and I can't remember who I've spoken to this a little bit about, it might have been Brasser about the Afghan war, because off camera he told me a lot of things that he's extremely bitter about, like when they had the switchover of the presidencies in America, and within I think we might be wrong, within a week the Afghan military, was it one day, the Taliban took over the country again. So why did all our soldiers die if it wasn't about anything sinister?
Yeah.
How is that possible? They can just give up like that. What? So that means that nothing. I honestly, some of the stuff he told me off camera, again, played tribute to no wonder people are heading down a path of not liking the government.
Yeah.
And what's going on with knife crime and stuff like that can be stopped instantly. But we'll just ban a certain knife.
It's like drowning could be stopped. If they put a bit of money into prevention, it could be stopped. But they don't put anything.
Exactly.
There's not 1 pence put into prevention. But how much do you reckon it costs for my son to die? Go on, have a guess.
I don't have
Go on.
Oh, you mean with the
ambulance,
paramedics,
police, black
100
cars.
grand.
Keep going. Come on.
200?
Keep going.
300?
Keep going.
400?
Keep going.
500?
Keep going.
Go on, tell
Try
me.
doubling that.
£100,000?
£1 million.
£1 million?
£1 million it cost for my son to die.
Wow. That and if you get some boards up, you've just literally took my question and made it 10 times better. What I was gonna say is I didn't know that, because obviously it must have been the same for my brother.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you see that you got all these rights going around the country, and we're spending all this money on this, that, the other, funding bullet farms to go to war, which is vicious circle. It goes back to the banks and back to the government, and you're just scratching your head thinking, I'm fighting to get epoxy couple signs which might cost £100 per quarry site, anywhere where it's dangerous, like this picture here, you know what I mean, saying how dangerous it is, giving them advice and tips. How you've got to fight for that.
It's a joke. I mean, I've slept in cars because I can't afford hotels to teach in schools. That's from the bottom of my heart.
Crazy,
I
innit?
can't afford to sleep in an hotel and travel all the way to Swansea, because what I do is voluntary, and excuse my French again,
No, it's fine.
nobody helps, nobody actually supports, nobody actually puts the money into me. Like, they were quite happy to take from me. Everybody's happy to take from me. Everybody's happy to use my story, share my story, and I'm willing for them to. I want them to use it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say don't use my story. Anybody,
Okay.
I put it out there for it to be used, to be used for good. But when people steal your ideas, for instance, and pass them off as their own, like, what? Get a grip. I get it all the time.
I think we might be talking, you probably get your version of this now. I get the phone call ringing, yo, Byron, been in and out of prison all my life, I've done this, I've done that, and all I'm thinking is that's 1 victim, 2 victims, 5 victims, 8 victims, 12 victims, 30 victims, and I want to link up with you. And how can I be respectful but not be disrespectful at the same time? Because I'm like, I don't really want to work with you, mate, then.
Yeah.
I'm a victim, but I teach as not a victim. So why are we rewarding these wrong things? Isn't it just back to like we're rewarding the gangster rappers?
This goes back to this thing in Wellingborough, really. So one of the signs that's up, and the council don't like me, I'm not going to lie, you can obviously appreciate why I've got a big gob. But one of the signs that the environmental agency put up says, we have no life-saving equipment on this river due to vandalism. So there's what? So you support vandals over life-saving equipment? You're saying breaking the law is okay, but not having life-saving equipment is okay? No, that's not okay. So somebody's going to probably be held responsible. You know, I'm not going to beat about the bush.
Oh yeah, that's all. I do agree with you there, but I remember once speaking to a paramedic once anyway, and I can't remember what it was. I spoke to that many people. I always remember about the defibrillators in city centres, and he said that the reason why we haven't got defibrillators in every city centre is because we live in this mad country, Western civilization, where everyone will nick them and vandalise them and sell them. Where when you go to Holland, where you go to Poland, which is meant to be, which is a very good place to live, where they do look after people.
Yeah.
Where they'll have them on every street corner, but it's just Western. I think people are starting to realise that we're very proud to be British, but this money greedy. I think you know what I think. I think we've run off advertisements. Everything's sold to us, isn't it?
It is, and that's the places where our messages should be. For instead of advertisements, it should be messages that we're sharing in schools.
Why do we never see no like TV adverts in between Coronation Street anymore?
Because it costs too much money.
They go.
Because it costs too much money.
It makes no sense because it should be coming out of the police budget.
Can you not remember me changing the advert on the TV?
No, I don't remember that one.
Bird's eye advert. Bird's eye fish fingers.
Yeah.
Come on. You know we did.
Go on, I didn't know about that.
So they had an advert on and it said, Captain Birdseye loves nothing better than watching his grandson swimming in cold water on a hot day. So my daughter was quite young and she come to me and she's like, you were lying to me. You said that you can't jump in cold water on a hot day. Well, I was fuming. Like, this is what I teach. And then one advert has just changed my daughter's mind about me. You're taking the mick. Do you know what I mean? So I've rang up. Well, I haven't. I've Facebooked Birdseye. I've put them all over Facebook. I've put them all over Twitter. I've basically outed them and like said, what the hell are you playing at? They've said they want a big meeting with me with Birdseye representatives. They'll head of Birdseye will speak to me at 5 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, this is big, this. So they've got me around the table meeting, put me on a Zoom meeting or whatever it was, and basically said, listen, we've listened to your concerns and we agree with you. Like, basically, when we put that kid on that advert, we had to put in loads of safety stuff in place to make sure that nothing happened to him. And we can't even believe we haven't put it out with a safety warning or anything. Yeah. So they took it out and they basically changed it to Captain Birdseye loves nothing better than swimming, watching his grandson swim. And that's all I wanted was the reference to hot day and cold water taken out, and it was took out.
So now I can say Rebecca Ramsay that can change bridges.
They rang it. They changed it again. So they changed it again to Captain Birdseye loves nothing better than a sunset. Now that's what it says. So the little boy lost his job. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, little boy, if you're watching.
Honestly, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. As I said to all the viewers, I've known you a long, long time. And I remember, God, that was about 7 years ago now, and you come to watch me talk, and you was like, oh, I've seen 500,000 people. Now I can say I've seen that many people, and I want to be like you, but
just
we're like,
to get my
British Empire water medal and knife crime, but you're inspiring me. Please make sure your friend, who's your friend called? What's your friend called? Michelle, big over here, she's like, no. There's a joke there somewhere, isn't there? It's Michelle. Michelle, make sure she drinks 50 shots tonight for Dylan. I want her on some man's shoulders going, yeah, no water safety tonight. We've done it again. You know what I mean? Yeah, see? Make sure she has a good time. Please keep making Dylan proud. Everyone's in the bar. And quite quickly, where can people find you to get you booked in, stuff like that?
So if you go on Doing It for Dylan, if you go on TikTok, Becky Ramsay. Becky is Beckie, Ramsay, RAMSAYBEM. If you type that in, because obviously I've got a British Empire medal and you haven't, Byron. So just
I will do. That's my goal.
Just saying. So if you type that into TikTok, you'll find me. Or if you go on Facebook, you'll find me. If you're a school and you want me in, or you've got problems. Like, do you know what? A lot of schools will say they won't have me in because they've already had an issue, right? Let's forget the issue that you've already had. Let's forget if somebody's already drowned at your school. Put it to the back of your head, right? And let's move forward. And let's make sure nobody else drowns at
every
your school.
every single year. Exactly the same. Water safety, knife crime, online safety, to the point when government finally listen and they ban social media until kids are 18 anyway. Things like that need to be done. A lot of suicide prevention every single year in every single school. So thank you very much. Can everyone give a round of applause to Becky? Woo! Yes. A big up Beluga squad. She's coming for you tonight. So thank you everyone for tuning in for yet another episode of Tatts and Bants with me, Byron. Our usual co-host Kyle will be back with you shortly. Thank you for you to coming on and making me cry. I can't believe it. It's the first time like pulled on my heartstrings. Please, I say it every time, do not forget to like and to subscribe. You've got all Rebecca's information if you're a school.
Call me Rebecca.
And I'm going to keep calling her that, yeah. If you want to get into your school, it's much important.
That was because of the joke.
No. So thank you very much. Peace out, Preston. Peace.
With the fire on this one.